Hey everybody, this is Coach Coventry from Immaculata, representing OHSF on this podcast. We have another OHSF all-decade team list member. As always, the introduction is to him, so I'm going to let him do it. Go for it.
My name is SPINELLA. I was quarterback for Mother Teresa High School from 2013 to 2015. After that, played going into my fifth year at Laurier.
That's awesome, and good to see a university quarterback. A couple guys on this list as well. You get making their name on the latter part of the decade, but awesome to see somebody who's a couple of years into to its U Sports career, or CIS as we used to call it, because I'm old. But it's really nice to see the U Sport, some representation from Ottawa at the quarterback position. Now, before we talk about your U Sports career and your high school career, I'd love to find out a little bit of background info as to how you even got into the sport, some influences, growing up and before even getting to grade 9 or 10. Talk to me about, the process of, playing club and the influences of coaches there and going forward.
For sure. So started playing football when I was about 8 years old. Started with the Nepean Redskins, and it wasn't really something that was on my mind that I wanted to play. It just kind of happened in our elementary school. We got like a flyer from the Redskins saying, "Hey, come out, do you want to sign up and try to play?" So started playing, fell in love with it. Started off as a receiver for the first 2 years, and then kind of got thrown into the quarterback role when our quarterback went down and we had no backup. And it went well. And then the next year I came back, they gave me the starting job. And ever since then, I've been playing quarterback. And then, I played Redskins up until my midget year. So in between that, I played OVFL for the Myers Riders for 2 for 5 years. Played 1 year of, and then started Mother Teresa, started playing in grade 10, got the quarterback role that year. I was splitting time actually with a receiver, me and him were flipping back and forth, and then kind of took over the starting job in the second half of the season. We went on to win the city championship that year. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like your pathway always seemed to kind of direct you towards the quarterback position. Were there any coaches that influenced you to kind of keep taking it to another level, going before you even got into high school, or were you even going to any quarterback gurus or anything like that to get the footwork right or anything like that, or was it just like coaches from club?
There was coaches from club for sure. A lot of them were very influential. Dave Burkett helped a lot, forcing me into that role, kind of that it stuck with me. After that, went to a bunch of QB camps, but I had one coach called Wayne Jacobs. He was really helpful. Went to him a lot, just a lot of like footwork and mechanics stuff. He really improved my game. Like he was, one of definitely the best to get me the quarterback that I am today.
Yeah, definitely a big name in the Ottawa scene. He's kind of gone back and forth. He takes a couple of university jobs sometimes. I think the last time I knew he was at St. Mary's, but definitely very, very aware of Wayne and his quarterbacking abilities, coaching abilities. Then from there, taking that Redskins gig and taking that over, like you said, you were splitting time playing club in high school. And then, you in grade 10, you kind of split time. What was that like? And, what was that grade 10 season like? Talk us through that first season in high school ball.
It was pretty, what's the word? A little scary going up against grade 12 when I was just a grade 10, but it was fun. It was a lot. I don't know. It was good getting some reps out there.
Do you remember a couple of memories or any moments, that kind of popped up, or things that were, you said you kind of went to OFSA and whatnot. So
OFSA was definitely like the peak of it. We played St. Joe's, which is our city rival, in like the city championship. We had both schools out at the games, played at Carleton's Field. So that was probably like the best moment of that whole season. It was a really cool game, really close game, and we grinded out the win by one touchdown, I think.
Oh, geez, okay.
The biggest moment.
Yeah, again, as a newer coach, these were games that I wasn't around for, so it's fun to kind of find out what the vibe was like in the city. I was out in Quebec at that point, and it's nice to hear that you had some big crowds at Carleton, and you had some school support, and that's something that's important about playing high school ball.
Yeah, for sure.
And from there, going into, grade 11 and other things, can you talk to me about, some other memories that you might have had, or how the seasons went, or even some of the coaching that you had in high school?
Yeah. So Dave Curry was our head coach. He was awesome, helped out a lot. But other than that, I mean, I think my grade 12 season, we had 2 or 3 coaches on my high school team. So it was a bit chaotic getting all the people together. So a lot of the seniors, there was me, Andrew Beatty, who were big football guys that kind of had to help out a lot and really help coach the guys. But it was a good time.
Yeah. Did you see yourself because the way we've been chatting, I guess I kind of see you as a quiet leader. Maybe that's kind of what I'm getting the vibe off of. Yeah.
Getting everybody to go. Yeah.
Sorry?
I said I'm definitely not the guy that's out there screaming around.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And I mean, leading by example is never an issue. It's just one of those things where the question or the segue for that was kind of, where did you see yourself as a leader on the team? Having to basically, you said that you had like 3 coaches at one point, and what was the leadership role like as a grade 12 senior taking the reins? Essentially, what were you responsible for?
Basically, just keeping the guys. I don't know. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that one. I never really thought of it as a leadership role. I just kind of go out there, do my thing, get the boys try as hard every day, try and get the wins.
That's fair enough. I mean, but at that point, you might have been a team captain and whatnot. So it's one of those things where the guys are probably looking up to you, right? It's you might not realize it as a humble guy and a quiet leader, you're just kind of doing your job and doing what you got to do. And I absolutely understand that. But it's definitely one of those situations. I know for a fact that it's if you're an older guy and a senior guy that needs to get a team moving at that point, people are looking up to you, and it sounds like you managed to get a season going and kept the guys going. Do you remember how that finished and how that went down in your grade 12 year?
Grade 12 year, yeah, we didn't have the greatest season. I think I don't remember the score at all. It was so long ago. It's all a blur, but we battled. We had some good wins. I think we got to the playoffs and then lost first round, so it was pretty tough. But not the way you wanted to finish the grade 12 year. But
totally understandable at that point. I mean, it's that nobody ever wants to go out and early. Everyone wants to go out with the championship and whatnot. But individually, you can at least hang your head high and talk about the individual accolades that you had and stuff like that. I know there were some all-stars and some team MVPs that definitely were involved in that process.
Sorry, you kind of cut out there. Couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I was just saying there was definitely probably some team MVPs or some all-stars there that were going on the AIA game and other things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's perfect. And going into your grade 12 year, and like you said, unfortunately it might have ended in that way, but your journey didn't end, and you were lucky enough to be one of those guys that gets recruited to go to the next level. What was your process going through your grade 12 year with the recruiting? And, was your mind always set on committing to Laurier, or were there other schools? Did you take visits? What was the academics? Just talk to me about the process of grade 12 and that recruiting.
Yeah, for sure. So growing up, I always wanted to play, university football. I always wanted to play for the GGs, just going to games. And it was always something that was on my mind. But in grade 12, it was never really something that was kind of a priority. I was kind of just going through playing club football, JV, Myers, and then I would just I think at first crossed my mind when I got I think it was a McMaster coach or someone came to one of the games and he said, hey, and I got to talk to him after, and then that was really when it started to click. I was like, okay, maybe actually I'm good enough to go and play at the second level. And then I got a couple offers, but the coaches at Laurier really just made it seem like they want to be the most. I would get Zoom calls or calls from the coach and saying, hey, kind of saying we want you here, and it just felt like they wanted me more than anybody else. So that's why I wanted to go to Laurier, and it stuck.
Yeah, and the program there wasn't necessarily anything that kind of stuck out to you. There wasn't any specific university program that had you there, or it was just a football decision.
Kind of just a football decision, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes everybody has their own process, and some of the guys that we've talked to, sometimes it's about school, sometimes it's about what the best football school is, and that's completely okay. And going into Laurier, there's a lot of talent there, and a coach like Michael Folds is definitely a guy that can have a lot of pull for you as a quarterback. For you, especially as a freshman in your first year after you graduated from Mother T, talk to me about that first year on campus and, the learning curve that comes with going from high school and club to, university's U Sports football?
Yeah. So first year was a little daunting. It was scary walking into a team, being like the all-star kid. Everyone that goes to university is always like one of the best players in their team. Then you go and everyone's the best player, so nobody's the best player when you first get there. And it was a little daunting, but it was fun. We had a group of about 30 recruits. We all got really close together. It was good. Then the QB room was really, really helpful. All the older guys were really welcoming, getting you ready. But I think the biggest change was definitely, just the size of the playbooks and the implementations every week of all these. You get a package and you have to learn these 30 plays. And maybe your team before only had 30, 60 plays in general. You're getting 100 plays plus 30 every single week. That was definitely the toughest thing, just getting everything, really focusing it all and trying to learn it all in this short amount of time.
Yeah, for sure. Did a coach like Falds help you with that learning curve, or are you leaning on him for a little bit of a QB advice going forwards? I know he's a Western guy who turned to Laurier as the head coach, but having watched him, growing up, there's a lot to learn from a guy like that,
Yeah. He was definitely one of the most helpful guys on the team. He was giving us all his tips. I mean, playing 5 years at Western and being one of the best quarterbacks in Canadian football helps a lot. He had a lot of tips to give, like just little things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily know or think of, just like ways to look through the reads, and that was definitely a big help over the years.
Yeah, and going forward with that, Laurier has been successful and actually got itself to a U Sports semifinal. Were you out at Laval for that game?
Yeah, I went down to that game. That was a lot of fun. Wasn't dressing, but that Yates Cup win for Western was pretty crazy. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting to Laval, I was at that one as well, small world. But I remember that was the first time I think I've ever seen Laurier come to Quebec. So very, very cool thing to see, the Golden Hawks make their way out to Peps. And that environment is
it's
one of a kind. Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now going forward with Laurier and whatnot, where do you see yourself, in the QB room, and what's your role right now on the team, and what are your plans for the future?
So I'm planning to do one more year at Laurier, and always competing for this final or that certain spot. Right now, I'd say I'm probably about second. Got a great QB ahead of me right now, but trying to bridge the gap. And I don't know. Keep going.
All right. Well, it was one of those things. Is it's great to get to have a chat with you, and definitely one of those things where we wanted to recognize you as a guy at Mother Teresa who's done a lot of things for the school. Looking back on it right now, it might not seem like one of those things where it's just like, oh, well, I just played high school ball, but it was a big decision to get on this list, and no small process. So congratulations and welcome to the list.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate talking to you. It's been a blast.
All right. Well, this is Coach Coventry signing off, and this was Jacob Spinella. We added a quarterback from Mother Teresa to the OHSF All-Decade List 2010 to 2019. All the best, Jacob, and congratulations again.
Thanks a lot.